All right, today we're diving into something truly historic. Artemis 2. This is the mission that's finally taking us back to the moon's doorstep. And I'm telling you, this isn't just another launch. Nope. This is the beginning of a whole new chapter in space exploration. And it's all happening right now.
50 plus years. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's been over half a century since humans last left the safety of low Earth orbit to travel to the moon. An entire generation, maybe even two, has gone by since we've seen our home planet from that absolutely breathtaking perspective. Which, brings us to the elephant in the room. The big question, right? After all this time, why are we going back? What's the big push for this new era of exploration? And why is it happening now? Okay, to really get that, we've got to understand something crucial. This isn't just Apollo 2.0. We're not just repeating the past here. Artemis 2 is the first crewed test flight of a totally new generation of technology. Tech that's designed to take us way farther and for a lot longer than we've ever been before. So, the stage was basically set by Artemis 1. Remember that one? The uncrewed mission? It proved all the hardware could actually survive the punishing journey. So now, Artemis 2 is that critical next step. It's like, okay, the car works. Now let's put the drivers inside and see how it really handles. They're going to test and push every single system needed to live and work out there in deep space. But look, this mission isn't just about nuts and bolts and testing hardware. It's really about the people inside that capsule. Artemis 2 finally puts a human face on this massive endeavor, and it's a powerful reminder that at the heart of all this incredible engineering are four very real, very brave human beings. And here's the crew. We've got NASA astronauts Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Koch. And joining them is Jeremy Hansen from the Canadian Space Agency. I mean, how cool is that? These four are absolute veterans, and they're about to be the first people to fly to the moon in over 50 years. It really shows you this is a global effort to push the frontiers of what's possible.
Okay, so what's the ride they're taking on this incredible journey? Let's get into the tech. We're going to break down the three main pieces of hardware that are really the backbone of the entire Artemis program.
First up, it all starts with this absolute beast, the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket. And here's the key thing you need to know about it. It is the only rocket on the planet powerful enough to send the Orion capsule, the crew, and all their cargo directly to the moon in one single shot. No messing around with assembling things in orbit. Just point and go. And what's sitting right on top of that massive rocket? That would be Orion. You can think of this as the crew's home, their office, their command center for the whole trip. It's a high-tech exploration vehicle built to keep them safe and sound for 10 days in deep space, and then, crucially, get them back home for a safe splashdown. And check this out, because this really shows you the international collaboration we were talking about. Attached to the back of Orion is the European Service Module, or ESM, built by the European Space Agency. Think of it as Orion's powerhouse. It's like its engine room and its life support backpack all rolled into one. It provides, well, pretty much everything: power, propulsion, water, air, all the stuff the crew needs to survive and get around out there.
And just to give you a sense of what this thing is carrying, get this. The ESM is loaded with over 8,600 kilograms of propellant. That is literally heavier than a school bus. And on top of that, it's got all the drinking water, all the oxygen, all the nitrogen, everything to keep the crew alive. It's just a phenomenal piece of engineering.
All right, so we've got the crew, we've got the hardware. Let's talk about the actual flight plan. How is this all going to work? Well, the whole mission is this incredible 10-day cosmic ballet, and it's designed to push every single system to its absolute limit. Yup, about 10 days. That's how long this whole trip is going to take, from launch to splashdown. Okay, so here's the play-by-play. It all kicks off with that mind-blowing launch and ascent. Then they'll hang out in a high Earth orbit for a bit, kind of like a final systems check before the long road trip. Once Mission Control gives them the go, it's a 4-day cruise out to the moon. They'll do a spectacular flyby, use the moon's gravity to whip them back around, and then it's another 4 days back to Earth for a splashdown in the Pacific. And get this isn't just any old flyby. They're going to fly almost 7,500 kilometers beyond the far side of the moon. That means this crew will travel farther from Earth than any human has ever been. Ever. They're literally setting a new record for deep space travel. So as cool as that record is, this mission is about so much more than just a trip around the moon. The real story here is what this flight makes possible. It's that absolutely critical stepping stone that's paving the way for humanity's next giant leap.
Think of Artemis 2 as the final, full-up dress rehearsal. Its main job is to prove, once and for all, that all these life support systems can keep a crew alive and well in deep space. And when, not if, it succeeds, that directly unlocks Artemis 3. And Artemis 3? That's the big one. That's the mission that will finally land humans back on the moon, this time near the super interesting and unexplored South Pole.
And that really brings us to the long game here, the ultimate goal. Just like NASA says, this is all part of a much bigger plan. We're not just going back to the moon to plant a flag and grab some rocks. This time, we're going back to learn how to live there, to build a sustainable, long-term human presence. And the big reason why? Because the moon is our training ground. It's where we'll figure out how to live on another world before we take that next, even bigger leap to Mars.
You know, this whole thing really is an adventure for all of us. And the best part? You can actually follow along with the crew's journey, almost in real time.
Yeah, NASA has made this super easy and really cool. You can head over to the ARROW website. That stands for Artemis Real-Time Orbit website. The address is easy, nasa.gov/track-Artemis. You can see Orion's exact position, its speed, how far it is from Earth, everything. Or even cooler, download the official NASA app. It's got this awesome augmented reality tracker. You can literally just point your phone up at the sky and it'll show you exactly where the spacecraft is on its journey. How amazing is that? So when we watch Artemis 2 make that historic loop around the moon, remember, we're watching more than just a 10-day spaceflight. We're watching the final test run for returning to the lunar surface. But it also makes you think, right? It brings up this much bigger question. Once we've proven we can do this, once we learn to live on the moon and establish that foothold on another world, what happens then? What comes next? What does our future as a multiplanetary species really look like?